Hey everyone, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. Very, very excited coming off a 38-7 UT victory over Baylor. Get to record my first victory video for UT. Very similar to the Cowboys 49ers game where, playing an inferior opponent, but taking them seriously and getting off the schneid. UT was able to do that today and executed. Wanted to start with Holton Hill. Phenomenal game today. Absolutely phenomenal. I know a lot of people were concerned about him in the concussion protocol with his play on the screen pass, but he came in and continued to play at an elite level, tackling in the run game, forcing fumbles, locking up Denzel Mims, who coming into the game was an elite threat, just as he did with James Washington the week before. Secondary as a whole, I mean, they playing very, very well. Deshaun Elliott, I know it was just announced this week that he was a Thorpe Award semifinalist, and then he appropriately started off the game with a pick six. I believe he now has 6 interceptions on the year, which leads the nation. So very, very excited for both of those guys who are balling out. Holton Hill's making making himself some money right now because he's 6'3" with length, speed, and he's showing that toughness. And his football IQ, just even in the screen game, keeping that outside shoulder free, maintaining leverage against bigger guys, and finishing through ball carriers in the open field. He's playing very, very, very aggressive football, but also showing that motor and a high football IQ. So I think he's going to be a guy that the NFL scouts really get excited about because you don't see too many guys at that position with that type of length and athleticism. Malik Jefferson, I already told y'all last week he's gone. He's continuing to ball. His ability as in the run game, his run fits are so much better. Todd Orlando just has figured out a scheme to really, really maximize his talents. They figured out what to do with Brecken Hager, putting him in that defensive end hybrid position opposite of Malcolm Roach. You can tell they're just having fun going after quarterbacks, and any type of spread concepts we face, those guys are just gonna have elite production and continue to grow as they're playing next to each other, as they're playing off of Puna, even when Chris Nelson's in the game. Every single person on that defensive line is contributing in a big way. And then you have Malik and my other dude, Gary Johnson, my 10-100 guy. Whatever way the quarterback scrambles, and Charlie Brewer was very, very mobile. I watched him a lot at Lake Travis as well when he was in high school. Whatever way they scramble, you have a sprinter at linebacker tracking these quarterbacks down. It's very, very intimidating, and you can see. And I know Baylor was playing musical chairs with their quarterbacks today, and if I was a Baylor fan, I would have been very upset with that. I would have just preferred to see the coach roll with Charlie Brewer and just let him do his thing as a freshman year, 0-7. What the hell is the point of playing the musical chairs with Zach Smith and Charlie Brewer? Didn't understand it, but that's another conversation for another day. Overall, though, defense, they only gave up one play today. I think they got a little flustered after that scrum after the kickoff, but they got themselves right. I'm enjoying this Todd Orlando scheme, the adjustments he continues to make throughout the game, his personnel groupings. Everything is A1 on defense. Special teams today was pretty good. I know we had the blocked field goal, but we fielded everything cleanly, covered. I think we had one other personal foul penalty on Chris Boyd, but other than that, they didn't kill us. So I'll take it. And Michael Dixon is always best punter in the country, consistently flipping the field down in Baylor inside the 10-yard line. Offense still struggled today. Had some success. Running the football late with our 2 young backs. I think those guys are the 2 most productive running backs we have on our team, and I think anybody with eyes has to see that because Tennille Carter has that burst that you're looking for. His vision seemed to improve throughout the game. I think as he got a better feel with more carries, and that was something that a lot of us UT fans have been criticizing, not getting the running backs enough touches so they can feel their way throughout the game. I think you saw Tennille Carter feel his way throughout the game. Daniel Young as well, another young guy out of Westfield High School in Houston, who was a late pickup in our recruiting class. He was very, very effective today and finished the game for us with that big run. But even before that, I just liked his physicality. He runs through, he breaks tackles. much more of a talented runner than Kyle Porter and even Chris Warren. I mean, those guys, Chris Warren it takes him too long to get going, and we're not going to put him in that pistol downhill power scheme that really suits him. So you got to go with these young guys that have a little bit more burst and quickness and can break some tackles at the line of scrimmage, because let's face it, our offensive line isn't good. We know our offensive line isn't good. They struggled today. They had some times in pass pro where they gave Shane enough time to make his throws. But for the most part, they're going to continue to struggle without Connor Williams and the other tackles that they're missing. Moving on to Shane, because the big question this week in Austin is going to be who's starting the TCU game next week. Is it going to be Shane Buechele? Is it going to be Sam Ehlinger? If we play the way we played today, I would prefer Shane to start the game just because of his short to intermediate accuracy. The ball comes out on time. He's not as mobile. I know he did have that zone read keeper today where he looked like freaking Forrest Gump running through the tunnel, but I think we need to, consider, yes, he is immobile, getting out in and out of tackles when the pocket closes, but his short to intermediate accuracy is better. When I went to the game in person at DKR last week against Oklahoma State, one of the things I was able to notice in person was how late Sam was with his throws, especially on outs and whatnot as they were developing. He just doesn't see it as quickly, and that's mostly just lack of experience. Now, Sam, as we know, is also the better fit for the offense, and I think he will have a role. You may have to use them both, to be honest with you. I don't want us to do the musical chair BS that Baylor was doing with their quarterbacks today, but I would prefer, if we're going to go with this type of game plan, to see Shane Buechele. Now, if we're going with the more spread out, single back or empty, and we just, we're asking our quarterback to make a whole bunch of plays and run the ball 20 times, then just go ahead and start with Sam and keep it moving. Also, obviously, depending on health. I should have mentioned that first. The last thing I wanted to comment on was just the wide receivers. I thought Lorenzo Joe probably had his best game as a Longhorn today. Very happy to see him productive as a senior. That was somebody I had kind of called out just for being on the field so much. I know he's a good blocker, but just didn't see his value as a pass catcher. You saw that today. He runs clean routes, catches the ball cleanly, and he had one great snag over the middle. And one of the things I was texting my friend about throughout the game was Colin Johnson. He's 6'6", and there was that play that really agitated me where he had the 5'9" corner on him in the red zone. He has to learn how to use his size better, and I can really see what the coaches are talking about with. I don't agree with him being demoted, but I can see their criticism of him not learning how to use his body enough. He should be able to catch fades, comebacks, all that just by boxing out and being almost like a rebounder. So that's something he has to improve on. But overall, the wide receiving core continues to play well. We love little Jordan Humphrey. Every time he gets the ball, he's electric. And we want to see Devin Duvernay get the ball, but we don't know how feasible that is in this offense. But overall, Tim Beck called a couple good plays. That roll out to little Jordan Humphrey, that was a good play that he called against the blitz. But he's still shaky as a play caller, and I think that's going to get exposed, unfortunately get exposed against Gary Patterson and his crew next week, because when we go to Fort Worth, them boys ain't going to play with us. It's going to be a great game, but excited, like I said, to make a win video. We're back to 500, and hopefully we can keep chucking forward and get to a bowl, get our seniors off on a good note, and continue positive momentum in our recruiting cycle. But as always, hook 'em horns, and thank everyone for viewing.